channel. So over the weekend, if you haven't heard the news yet, someone reached 100 subscribers. Okay, I know it's not much, but I don't know, I'm just happy because people actually support my stuff, you know? I mean, I know it's pretty much just people I know who's subscribing, but I'm still grateful. So in light of the celebration, I'm going to be doing a little question and answer vlog because I've been getting a lot of questions about my art and the stuff that I do recently. So why not do a question and answer vlog to answer all of your questions, most of them, in one place. Yeah, so I'm going to be answering the most frequently asked questions that I get on this vlog. So without further ado, let's get into it. Okay, so the first question that I got, one of the most common as well, is what made you start loving art? I honestly don't remember because I've been drawing since I can remember. The youngest I remember starting to draw, like actually draw things and not just scribbling, was around the age of 3, I guess, and I just never stopped drawing since, you know? I've always watched a lot of cartoons. Cartoon Network was my original thing, you know? So I don't know, I feel like it came from that, from me watching way too much cartoons, and then I started wanting to draw cartoons. I remember I even used to do those, you know, those random tutorials on Disney when they teach you like 5-second animations with just 2 pieces of paper and then you just flip them back and forth and it's like the person is nodding. Again and again and again. I don't know if you guys saw that, but I used to do those a lot. I used to feel so proud of myself for like, hey, I'm an animator now, you know, this stuff is easy. Boy, did I clown myself. This stuff is not easy, I swear. But it's fun and I'm enjoying it and I'm loving being an animation student so far, and I'm really so grateful that I get to do what I love. I just hope that I don't lose my love for it in all the pressure, you know. But yeah, that's basically it. It's basically a childhood passion that I never grew out of. So here I am, enjoying my life, being a kid, and getting stuff done while at it. What subject do you enjoy drawing? If you guys haven't noticed yet, I draw a lot of girls because, I don't know, girls are pretty. For some reason, I just don't enjoy drawing guys as much as I do drawing girls. You know, like when you draw a guy, it's just a shirt. They're just wearing a shirt and jeans. That's it. With girls, you can do so much, you know, so much accessories. You can just go extra when drawing girls, is what I'm basically trying to say. So yeah, I guess it's more fun for me. Yeah. What's the most challenging project or work of yours, and are you proud of the outcome? I'd say the most challenging that I've done so far would be this final project I had for drawing class this semester. Looks like this. I'm gonna be doing a semester wrap-up video soon anyway, so you're gonna see more of that. But yeah, it's that one, mainly because I was using cheap pastels I bought from Daiso, because of the quarantine, you know, we didn't have access to buy better materials, and that's the only stuff that I had, and I was kind of missing a few colors and I had trouble. This piece is just too detailed. I feel like it's the most detailed piece that I've ever had to work with ever, so it took me about 3 weeks to finish, and it's pretty big, so it goes with all the details, and we had to imitate an impressionist artwork. And trying to imitate paint strokes when you're using pastel in itself is already so hard. and I just had to choose one of the most complicated artworks to choose from, so I kind of brought it up on myself, but it's done and I'm kind of happy with how it turned out, I guess. So yay! What's next? How did you start your art account? Honestly, hold on. I'm gonna go back to that. I'm just gonna jump into this next question because I think it's related. With the pandemic still happening and everyone still stuck at home because of quarantine, are fan signs making a 2020 comeback? This particular question hit so, this is home. This is where that question landed. So basically, I started out doing fan signs for friends way back in 2012, I guess, because back then fan signs were like the biggest thing and celebrities were doing fan signs for the fans. And around that time, doodling was also becoming popular, and I also was getting into doodling because everyone else was doing it and it was also so much fun. So what I did in school was I'd make bookmarks for my friends. And they were kind of fan sign bookmarks because I'd fold a piece of paper into like bookmark size and I'd write their name in the middle and I'd doodle all around it. It was like a fan sign. I didn't really have fans, I gave them to friends. And by the end of that school year, people were like, oh, you should do me a fan sign, make me a fan sign. Even people that I worked close with, they were just asking me to make fan sign doodle bookmarks for them, And even in the summer, people were still asking me, but I didn't have like a way to give it to them because I live in Dubai and I was 12 and I didn't get to meet people a lot when I was 12. So what I did was I started posting their requests on Facebook because they were my Facebook friends and Facebook was still relevant at the time. Yeah, so I posted their requests on Facebook, and then around that time I also got into Instagram, but my Instagram was currently just, a personal account. I post cringy selfies. Then I was like, hey, since I'm posting them on Facebook, why not post the doodles on Instagram as well? And then that's where the art community kind of picked up on me, and then I was like, okay, let's turn this into a full-on art account. And I deleted all the cringy pictures. It's gone for good. And that's how my first art account was made. Yay. iPad Pro or Surface Pro for digital art? Honestly, I can't give a valid opinion on this because I don't have an iPad Pro, so. I do have a Surface Pro and I love it and it works so well for me. I don't know why people are complaining about the 5 pixel difference, like the pen doesn't match where you put it on the screen as well. Like, I don't know, a lot of people have been complaining about that, but I never had that problem. I had it once. I had that problem at first when I first got it, but when I paired the pen to the Surface Pro and I enabled the palm block, it disappeared. So I guess y'all just have to do that too, because I really don't have any problems drawing with it, and I love it, and I'm probably still gonna get the same thing when my current one gets out of date. So I mean, I feel like the iPad Pro is really good. It's just that it doesn't support the entire Adobe suite, Once they start supporting that, with not just with the shortcut apps like Premiere Rush, like when they start supporting Premiere Pro, the whole thing, Photoshop, the whole thing with all the features and all of that, I'm probably gonna switch because it's that good. But the thing is, I'm an animation student, so I'm gonna need like I need After Effects, Premiere Pro, and all that. If it was just digital art, I think the iPad Pro Procreate is a really good app. But because I need a lot more stuff and I need the flexibility that comes with the Adobe apps, I'm probably still gonna stick to Surface Pro for now. We'll see, maybe Apple might finally support Adobe in the future, and if they do, I might switch. Might. Hey guys, funny story. So I actually finished filming yesterday, and I was editing a while back, and then I realized I actually skipped a really good question that I want to answer. So here I am again, all dressed up in the same outfit, because you know, we're saving water, washing clothes and all that. And I don't know, try guessing which clip is the odd one out, I guess. I don't know. Your top 3 drawing apps, let's see. Well, first there's Photoshop, of course. Then there's Photoshop. And then Photoshop. Moving on, tips on how to improve your drawing or sketching skills. You know, this is the one question that gets thrown at me all the time. And every single time I have no idea how to answer it. The thing is, I really don't know. Because I've never had I don't know. And the thing is, art isn't it's not a talent. That's what my drawing professor says. Art is a skill that you can learn and enhance and improve. So it's not just, oh, you're talented, that's why you're good at it. You know, you have to, I know this is gonna sound super cliche, but you have to practice. That's honestly the only logical answer to this question. You just have to keep drawing and drawing and drawing and drawing and drawing. And it doesn't mean that you're gonna see results immediately. You know, it takes years. Do you guys want to see how much improvement you can get within a few years if you just keep drawing non-stop? Like, draw every day, literally. Not every piece you have to do is gonna look good, and that's normal, you know? As long as you don't stop drawing, you're gonna get there eventually. That's the thing, there is subjective. Like, right now, you have this goal, right? And each time you improve, you're gonna think that this isn't enough, I still wanna make it better. So that goal kind of moves in parallel to where you are now. So if this is where you are now, this is the goal that you want to achieve, and if you improve, that goal is gonna get, you know, they're just gonna keep moving forward. So you're never gonna actually reach that goal. You just have to keep improving, because there's always gonna be room for improvement. You know, just don't stop. If you genuinely enjoy making art, then it's not gonna feel like it's a chore. It's not gonna feel like you're trying desperately to achieve something, you know? Just enjoy the process and you'll eventually improve if you keep doing it. I know that doesn't sound like it was a lot of help, but honestly, that's all there is to it. Is even people in uni, they keep asking me like, how did you get to this level of skill? And I've been drawing all my life, and I really don't know how to help. I'm so sorry. That's literally all I did. I just never stopped drawing. I'm so sorry. How do you face proportions? Honestly, I feel like I'm the worst person to ask this. Because I don't really do realistic faces. Like if you're asking about portraits, I have no idea because I've never tried it. I don't know, I'm really not the best person to answer this question. I'll probably get back to this once I finish life drawing in uni. Maybe then I'll have better face proportion tips and all that. But a piece of advice that I could give you is when you're trying to draw something, like doesn't have to be a face. Like whenever you're just drawing, treat the objects that you see as not as a whole object. Treat them as a bunch of shapes grouped together, you know? Like when you're doing a face, if the face is an oval shape, then draw the curves and the shapes that you see. Don't draw the features, if you know what I'm saying, you know? Like when you're drawing a box, like a 3D box, each face of that box, because it's 3D, isn't really a square. Like you know that it's a square, the object itself is a square, that side of the box is a square, but because of the angle from where you're copying it, it doesn't look like a square. Like for example, this table, we know that this table top is a rectangle, but you don't see a rectangle. When you're trying to draw this isn't a rectangle. Draw what you see, don't draw what you know, if that makes sense, you know? And when it comes to proportions, I think I do a lot of citing. I don't really like measuring and doing all those grids and stuff. It's just too much work for me. So what I like to do is a thing called citing. So what citing is essentially is when you take your pen or whatever you're drawing with, I don't know, whatever you're drawing with, and you just do this. You know when you see artists, like exaggerated artists on wherever, when they're trying to do this, trying to do that, those aren't actually exaggerations. We actually use them. Like, I know it looks funny and it looks awkward because you're doing this and you're trying to look like a pretentious artist, but it's not. I swear, we actually use it. We're taught to do it in drawing class. So what that does is, like, you estimate the proportions that you see when you're trying to copy still life. This is especially useful when you're drawing still life, but it also kind of works when you're copying off a picture. It works the same way, you know, but it's more used when you're drawing still life, but it works for both ways. So essentially what you're trying to do is, like, when you look at, for example, this jar, when you're looking at it, like, the full arm has to be extended, especially if you're new to the whole siding thing, because when you do this, like, you're never sure when you look at it and then you measure and then you start drawing and you go back, you're not sure if that angle is still the same. So just to be consistent with the measurements, extend your whole arm. It's gonna feel awkward, I swear. That's just how it is, but it helps a lot. You know, when you get over the awkwardness, it's super helpful. So yeah, basically you just measure the thing with pencil. Like if you see this, so basically what I did is I measured the width of the jar that I can see from this angle with my pencil. So it's like that. And I'm gonna transfer this measurement onto the paper when I'm drawing. So, you know, I just do this for the height and just, I guess you could do that with the eyes, like when you're looking at something like there. So my eye is technically this small when you can transfer it onto the paper. So it's just that. That's it. That's how I do proportions for almost anything. So I guess it works the same with faces, although I don't really do realistic faces. But when I'm copying, like when I'm doing fan art of characters, it also works the same way, kind of. So I guess it works the same way for realistic portraits. I'm so sorry. Okay, so the next question we have is about self-control. And honestly, I never really had this much of an issue with it because most of the stuff that I'm using are stuff that I already have at home. Like I started out with just color pencils. You know, I have the same pack. Like to this day, I still have one. I kid you not, this is the exact same color pencil pack that I started my art account with, and I honestly don't know why it still hasn't run out yet. Like, I don't know. These are what I started with, and it wasn't really an issue for me. Like, even now, I feel like the most expensive art stuff that I have would be my Copics and my Koi watercolor set. But even then, I don't actually have like the huge Copic sets. I only buy them, I buy per marker because I don't like how the sets are limiting you to which colors you have, because none of the sets have all the colors I need and like in one set, and they have a bunch of other colors mixed up that I don't really need. So I don't know, I guess it's just that I don't know, I guess it just boils down to being aware that you can create great art without the most expensive materials. Like, the materials don't really matter if your art isn't that good. So yeah, what matters is your skill and your determination to make something great out of what you have. I mean, I literally finished an entire art piece with pastels from Daiso and I got a really good mark on it, so it doesn't really matter. But I do have an addiction to buying washi tapes though. Like, probably washi tapes are like the only arts and craft materials that I cannot stop myself from buying. Like, I have a whole drawer full of washi tape and I don't even use like 50% of them. Honestly, look at the amount of washi tape that I have. Like, I really do not need all of this. And it's not even just that, like there's more over here and there's a whole jar of it too. Way over there. Over there. And I even have these deco tapes. They're kind of like correction tapes, but they're decorated, so they're technically washi tapes. And I don't even need them. They just look cute, but I never find anything to use them with, even in journaling. And some of them I don't want to use just because they're too cute. So yeah, that's probably the only thing that I hoard. I guess what you have to do is just keep in mind that you don't really need them. You might want them, but do you really need them? You know what I'm saying? Sure, it's great to invest in the better, more expensive materials as you go along, because the comfort is just different. The way the Copic markers blend with each other is just amazing. I have never seen that kind of smooth blending with any other markers. So, I mean, it's not impossible, but it's a whole lot easier. You know, that's mainly what expensive stuff offers, is just the added comfort and the ease with using them. But it's not really impossible with cheaper stuff, you know? So yeah, that's probably the best advice I can give, is just keep in mind that you don't really need them. And I don't know, personally for me, I think it's more rewarding when people see your art and they're like, oh wow, this is so amazing, you must have had the best materials, the most expensive ones, which ones do you have, blah blah blah, and all that. And then you say some cheap brand that you found on the side and they're like, no way. Because that's what I get a lot. Like, make your art look like it's expensive. You don't need the materials. Just, you know, it's like dressing rich when you're actually broke. It's the same kind of thing, you know. Make do with what you have and
I don't know, just for me, it's just more rewarding. Aha! How to deal with art block. Oh my god. Honestly, I wish there was an answer. I wish there was a cure to art block. Like, you know, just pop a pill and the art block is gone. You can get creative again. But there isn't. So, again, this is gonna sound cliche, but honestly, the only effective advice I can give you is just keep drawing, even if you have nothing in your mind to draw. Again, not every piece of art that you have to create has to be the most perfect thing, you know? Like, you can just do art studies just for the sake of learning. You don't always have to post everything that you draw if you don't feel that it's post-worthy, you know? Like, do a lot of sketches just for the sake of learning how to sketch. Not everything has to be shown in public or put in a frame or stuff like that, you know? Just the biggest advice I could give you is just don't be afraid to experiment and make mistakes and make messy art, you know? Not everything has to be perfect. It's just, as long as you're learning and you're improving, then that's all you need, honestly. That sounds super cliche, I'm aware of that, but I swear it's true. It's not just, you know, it's not just flowery, sugary words. It's real concrete advice. You just have to keep at it. The more you try to avoid creating because you have art block, it's like you're just using the art block as an excuse to not do your best, you know? Don't make it an excuse. Like, who cares if the art that you produce when you're in art block looks bad? Like, no one else has to see it as long as you just keep making it, and eventually, this is what I know. If you're in art block, you're not gonna get out of it doing nothing. The inspiration's not just gonna pop back in your head randomly. You have to do your part to get out of that art block, you know? So, who cares? If it doesn't look good, then don't show people if you're not comfortable. It doesn't matter. As long as you're improving yourself, that's really all there is to it, you know? So, yeah, art block is it's hard, but you're not gonna get out of it if you're not gonna do anything about it. So, just keep sketching. Like, even if you're just drawing random shapes, circles, triangles, eventually you're gonna see something. Like, those shapes are gonna form something that's gonna spark an inspiration in your head, and you're eventually gonna get there, you know? It might take a while, it might take not that long, it depends, but what's important is you don't stop trying. What am I doing? The rest of the questions are like, are you doing commissions? Can you do this for me? Can you do that for me? Honestly, I wish I were. I want to get into commissions, but at the same time, I'm like, will I be able to handle the pressure? Honestly, I want to start earning, you know, from my art. But at the same time, it's just so lazy. And you know, like, I still have that attachment with my art that I don't want to give my art away. But if I'm doing digital art, then technically I don't really have to say goodbye to the art pieces, you know, because I'm still gonna have a copy of them forever. But I don't know, would people actually be interested in my art? Where I'm at now, I don't even have like a consistent art style, so I don't think there's something particularly special in my art that it's gonna be worth selling for now. I don't know, maybe once I get comfortable with like a fixed art style, I'll probably open up commissions. But I don't know, like right now, do you guys think I should do commissions? Like, would you personally buy my art? You know, if I didn't sell it, like I don't think I'm gonna sell art like the prices that are, I don't think I can sell that kind of art. But just small commissions. If you guys are interested, let me know in the comment section or DM me personally if you have any ideas, And I guess that's it. Yeah, that's it. Thank you so much for all the support, guys. I know most of my supporters are just my friends, people I know in real life, but still, I'm grateful and I'll never stop blabbing, so tune in next time. So if you guys have more questions that you didn't get to ask or I didn't get to answer in this vlog, if you have follow-up questions, don't be shy to DM me or leave it in the comment section. Just don't be shy to ask. I'll try to answer as best as I can, and I'll try to give like concrete advice next time. I don't know, I'm so sorry. I feel like we didn't really give actual tips, but everything that I said is what works for me. Like I wouldn't give advice that hasn't worked for me. So, even though they sounded cliche, they work well for me, so I guess they're valid. And yeah, thanks again for 100 subscribers. I hope you guys enjoyed this vlog. If not, I'm still gonna do it anyway, so stay fresh, cheese bags.